Good morning. So, I'm gonna do a look here, as my friends from South Africa would say. Um, so I've been taking a class recently on some cybersecurity tools, and Wazuh network monitoring has came up. The Just to give you an idea, it's an open source platform, um, and the three things that I was able to do with it is access control, integrity checks, and vulnerabilities. Um, so to give you an idea, we will actually it's not gonna let me go there because I guess it's not going to allow me. Anyway, all right. So let's just go back to this, and then we'll check out the internet side of it in a minute. But if you want to go through the there we go. Don't know. Well, maybe I'll. Yeah, so it'll let me go from here. Anyway, so Wazuh.com, open source security platform, and it has the dashboard, cloud interface, all the things that you need to know, and then there's quite a bit of documentation on it. But just for simplicity's sake, I was going to highlight access control, integrity checks, and vulnerabilities. The setting it up, you have to set up the server and then attach it to Windows to have it authenticate with the Windows so that you can monitor the Windows password failures. And you need some Unix type commands to be able to do that, to get it up and running. The dashboard and the server will have the same IP address, and that's what is going on here. So in this case, it doesn't have an IP address, so we had to go in and config that.yml file and modify the IP address so that I could see it. And the situation that I had was a VM with a Wazuh server, and then a Windows 10, and then Linux, or not Linux, the Kali Linux to be able to talk to it as well, as far as doing a test type environment. So just pointing out the Unix commands, set up certificates. You can see that here with the admin and the indexer, server, and dashboard. I don't know all the ins and outs of these things, but understanding the commands and sending them out is not a big deal. And then you will need to know how to work around Windows PowerShell. Obviously, you're working with Windows to be able to monitor Windows access, so understanding how those integrate will make it easier for you to work with the Wazuh product. And then this is just acquiring the valid data, so like you send the commands via the Windows and then get the authentication key through the Wazuh agent manager, and this allows you, the Wazuh server, to monitor the Windows. So if you don't have this set up, it's not going to monitor your like your failed passwords or failed password attempts. So password access failure was what I was looking for. There's some more things probably that you have to turn on in the background, but for the purpose of this presentation, I just wanted to show that it's relatively easy to get the Wazuh set up. And then you have security events reports, and you can see that the Wazuh server is the one that it's reporting on there. You can set up agents and the type of events that you want to report. And then the big thing is logs. So I can see, there should be one of these that says that there should be one that shows that I logged in wrong. Integration is not coming or exiting. But the logs, there's a bazillion logs that go with cybersecurity that I'm learning. And going back and forth and learning what it's doing and not doing. And I might have pulled the wrong snippet. But I think I was looking for the certs and then the user bin and the boot and making sure that I started properly for the Wazuh. No password required. Accepting connections apart. Anyway, but you see the authored info there in the agent list. So, I wonder if I left something out. Because there was a report that just showed that it had a failed login. So I think I pulled the wrong snippet here. But that's what it's showing here, is that I got the wrong login and that there was password guessing going on. So that's the report that comes in as a securities event. That's what it's supposed to be showing here on this syslog, and I don't know. Host deny, ignore. So it looks like it denied it, but the system check was there, so I mean it saw something, but I don't know that I pulled the right one because I could have swore that they said something about the login as far as the comments. So the second thing is in integrity monitoring, and what I'm talking about there is like your files. So if somebody was to attempt to log in like 5 times and to push a password or try to get onto the system using somebody else's password, etc., and then go and delete the files, then Wazuh will monitor that and show you that there's been some kind of integrity issue. And you can set up these FIM rules and agents to show that. And some of that is using Windows and the syscheck again, and then looking at where the system files are. Then we actually went in and we took the files out, turned on the system monitoring again, did the integrity monitoring, and then we got a report saying that there was an integrity difference as far as a mismatch in files. So that's one of the things that Wazuh does that I think it's pretty cool for a free product, open source product is what I should say, to allow you to do that. And there's some powerful tools going on. The other thing is looking at CVE vulnerabilities and being able to get vulnerabilities from your system, and then reference these CVEs on the MITRE site so that you can look at your endpoints and figure out what you need to do about it. And that's what I'm trying to show here. So in this case, for our little sandbox, there was 43 critical, 1370 high, mediums and lows. And so I pulled the one, 37,986, and just looked that up. And then also went to the Microsoft site. Obviously it's a little bit behind, but and I think everybody knows by now that Windows Server 2012, has some issues. The thing that I like about the CVE stuff is that it reminds you to do your backups, or not do your backups, do your upgrades, and it can show you exactly why, because somebody else has had problems somewhere, as far as why you should do your upgrades. And let's see if this one will work. Yeah, so this is taking me to the CVE site. And looks like they've got a new site, cve.org, etc., which I'm not sure about, but it's still in relation to MITRE, the MITRE.org. And then the where's the ones where I just like to, here's the ones with the 37986, and it shows you, it's a 132K elevation of privilege vulnerability, and 2022. And then to relate it back to PLCs, this is, I like to be able to go in and check out the PLC stuff, because I do OT, and Rockwell's already had some issues this year, which I find, some of these are interesting. Of course, this is Micrologic's smaller controllers, and I think it's called the Georgia Institute. The universities are getting involved, and so it's a community issue. Here's a Modbus TCP server add-on instruction type vulnerability, sending a malformed message that could cause the controller to respond with a copy of the most recent request. So if I click on that, then it shows some of the other issues going are related exploitations. There was one that I found this morning based on this one I thought was interesting because CodeSys is another PLC environment, and this one can relate to the denial of service based on an unauthenticated user, and I think that that's critical for us to be aware of the reasons for passwords, etc. And then let's just follow up on what because like Microsoft CodeSys, Rockwell, they all respond to it, or have different type of advisories. So this was CodeSys's response, and what they're doing about it. And they've rated it vulnerability as high. And I think it's important to understand the differences, as far as what the supplier does about it. Let's see if we can go back to the Rockwell one. Alright, so here's a Rockwell one, so let's check out what Rockwell's saying. Modbus TCP add-on structure could leak sensitive information. Of course you gotta log in. Sorry, I forgot about that, because Rockwell makes you log into customer service. This one's probably gonna be the same thing. Yeah. And I don't feel like logging in right now, so. Anyway, but that gives you an idea that you can get your vulnerabilities off the network or based on Wazuh. I took it a little bit further as far as, Wazuh would just be your network monitoring, and then just showing you how you can reference the CVE for PLCs, and then find your response from the provider. Like, I should have the Microsoft one in here. That's good. This is the Microsoft one. I probably already went past it. But Microsoft's pretty good about it, and that was just the SQL 12 as far as the database 2012 being outdated. So in that case, you would just update your database from SQL 12 2012. So alright then, so that's that is an overview of Wazuh, an open source security platform, where you can get a dashboard and fight against your MITRE attacks. So check them out. I think it's easy to use, and probably help you out with some cybersecurity issues.